Happy Monday, everyone. I wanted to go over announcements and reminders for this week 10. Week 10, we have about 5 weeks left in the semester. So y'all are moving right along. I'm going to start with talking about this week's discussion video. So the past 2 weeks, you all haven't had to submit a virtual discussion video. So I just want to remind you all that one is due for your upcoming discussion, but it's a bit different in terms of the deadline. Typically they're due on Saturdays, but this time they're going to be due this coming Sunday. So this video will be due on Sunday the 29th, okay? So that's not a typo. It's due on the 29th instead of the 28th, okay? And again, as you've done in the past, make sure that you label a thread in your Learning Communities discussion board week 10 and that you upload the video there, okay? Course readings for this week is chapter 6 in the Mills text, and then chapter 7 in Afron and Rabbit. And so in the week 10 folder, the chapter 7 in Afron and Rabbit is provided there. Along with the readings in the week 10 folder is a PowerPoint on data analysis and interpretation. So be sure to take a look at that as well. Continue to collect data for your research project this semester. So I know that in the syllabus, you know how I make those recommendations about what you should be doing each week to kind of scaffold the work in the course. And so I mentioned that the week of the 22nd should be when you should finalize your data collection. So I'm telling you, it's going to be next week. Okay, so by the end of next week, you should be finalizing your data collection. And that is because it took me a while to get feedback to each and every one of you for your research proposals. And so because of that, I want to make sure that I give you ample time to collect data. And as I mentioned in the past, okay, the data collection for this project is minuscule in comparison to what you will do for your dissertation. Okay, so this is the time for you to spend 2 weeks on data collection, trying out the development of a survey or an interview protocol with maybe one participant. But I don't want anyone going all out and trying to do what they mentioned in the proposal itself in terms of the grand scale of what you in terms of what you proposed. Okay, so this is going to be a pared down version of what you proposed in your papers to me recently. So if you have, let's say, as a suggestion, let's say that you mentioned that you're going to interview, 3 or 4 people. So instead of doing 3 or 4 people, interview 1 person. Okay. Let's say that you mentioned that you're going to do 2 weeks of observation. So instead of 2 weeks of observation, maybe you'll do, 3 to 4 days of observation, 2 days of observation. Okay. So, so that's my suggestion to make this a more realistic, project in terms of your data collection, because the more data you collect, the more data you have to analyze. And so that's the next step that you all will be working toward in terms of trying to finish your papers. Okay, so if you have any questions about what I just mentioned about the scale of what you should be doing, be sure to contact me so I can clarify. Okay. So with regards to feedback for your papers, you all did a phenomenal job on your research proposals. I think the exemplar in a way may have helped to kind of give you all the idea of a structure and to help guide you through the development of those papers. Main idea things that I saw or that I noticed was that there was a lot of feedback from me to everyone about making sure that the title of your papers were saying the same thing as your purpose statement, and that those 2 pieces were saying the same thing as your research questions. Okay, so making sure that the title, the purpose statement, and the research questions are aligned. Okay, and so if you're talking about looking at the persistence of minority STEM majors, and that's in the title, then you should also be talking about the persistence of minority STEM majors in the purpose statement, and the same rings true for the research question. Okay, so make sure that all that's aligned. Some other things that I noticed was making sure that you're citing enough literature. Okay, both in your data collection and tentatives, both in your data collection and in your data analysis sections. Okay, so what I noticed a lot of was you all, step by step explain to me what you were doing. Okay, which is great. But then you need to cite past researchers that you've read or current people that you're reading now to support those methodological decisions. Okay, so you know about Criswell, you know about Onward Boozy, you know about Lincoln Gubin. There's a number of folks that y'all have been reading. You can use Mills, you can use Efron and Rabbit. And so just make sure that you are citing those researchers whenever you're making certain methodological decisions. Okay, so both those sections should be chock full of literature. And that's what I'll be looking for in the final paper. Another piece is that some folks included the table that was in the exemplar that outlined the research question and the data and the sources of data collection, and then also the data analysis that is to happen for each one of the data collection sources. And so what I recommend is that if you didn't include that in this paper, that you do include it in your final paper. Okay. And for those that included it in this paper, make sure that you're very clear about your data collection sources. And I provided feedback for those that need to do that. In addition to making sure that you're identifying how you will analyze each source of data. Okay. So don't speak in terms of generalities unless your data analysis is the same for multiple sources of data collection. Okay, so if you're doing observations and as well as interviews, then make sure that if you're talking about data analysis, that you're making it very clear that you're going to code the data and you're going to describe emergent themes. Okay, and so if you're going to do something different, like let's say you're going to do a document analysis and you're doing interviews, well then a document analysis would be a content analysis, and you wouldn't do that with, let's say, interview data. Okay, instead with interview data you would do coding and you would do thematic and you would do emergent themes. So just make sure that you're very clear and explicit about what you're doing in terms of your data analysis and data collection and providing literature for both of those. Okay. And then the last thing is making sure that your APA, that you're being very thorough in your use of APA and accurate. So for the most part, I mean, you all did a really great job with that. There wasn't much for me to have to provide feedback on in that regard. But continue to be mindful, okay? Because for the final paper, there will be a section where I would designate points, okay, for APA. I didn't this time, but I will do it for the final paper, okay? I think that's it. So, this week I will have office hours Thursday from 6:30 to 8. And so you can reach out to me via Skype or Google Hangouts, or you can schedule a face-to-face appointment. Just send me an email. If you have any questions about feedback provided to everyone with regards to their papers. And I did a video. I included video feedback for each one of for each of your papers as well. Okay. And so if you didn't receive that, if you're having difficulty viewing the video, then let me know that too. Okay. All right. Have a great week, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.